This is crazy. She's so good. What is up? She's just like... This is insane. It's insane. She's so amazing. This one is so amazing. She's a goddess, man. This is crazy. She's playing both the... yeah. That's what they call the same time. Jesus Christ. So, hello, we're on tour, of course, here today. We're gonna watch Burden of Time. Starting out here, people submit this link, right, for, of course, Miyako's official page. Link below, of course, for her site, also one, subscribe to her. And this is crazy, right? She's playing, of course, the keyboard and the guitar at the same time. It's insane. You know, just one hand, right, is on the keyboard, the other hand's on the guitar. She's doing this thing on the same time, right? I even of course my own keyboard here. No, but I do feel that maybe one reason why I love this so much for, right? Maybe one reason why I love this so much, like genuinely is, right? Because see, when I was in college, right, in grad school, I built my own arcade stick, right? So I didn't build this thing here. I built half the thing, but I built like a very different one where you had two hands on like a wooden shaped thing with your hands. Rather in them in circles, and you can go both left and right, up and down. Every button was connected to like a wooden thing. It's very hard to explain here, but basically, I built this really advanced surface table, right? So you could have like basically two of these, one per hand, and it would move with your fingers instead, okay? And it was it was extremely hard to use it. Just TLDR, short version, right? I built, honestly, an amazing like control scheme for keyboard, gaming, YouTube, whatever, just to control and stuff, right? But no one could buy it, honestly, because I was like the only person that could use it. That's a true story. This thing here is this is a modded thing that I bought, right? And I modded it myself, afterwards, right? But that thing I bought, it was so complicated that literally no one could use it, okay? It was like we had all these studies, right? We had like, I don't know, 300-400 people in studies, right? And it was like 1 or 2%, right, of the people in the studies that could use it, right? And then we had it on this, how to explain it, in a galleria, basically, right? On this, like, science gallery, like a big galleria, biggest in the country, people can buy all the time, right? And they could test it, and it was the same thing there, right? So it was really cool, really advanced. I might genuinely have built the best controller of all time. The problem is, you need to be like Miyako and have like 5,000 IQ to use it, like seriously. Because it basically was like playing three instruments at the same time. Because you could kind of modelize with two fingers. Yeah, you had so much high motor skills to play it. Man, this story took a long side note. I don't know, but I will leave it in the video, okay? Because that's probably why I love this stuff so much. Because when I see stuff like this, right, I feel like she could use my controller. I feel that Miyako, I have to give it to her. I have to send it to her. I'll be like, I'm gonna give her a copy, yeah. If I ever meet her, yes. Like, seriously. It's not like a dumb joke, but I'm being genuine, right? There's a paper, you could go and read it, I got it published. So don't get me wrong, I published a paper about it, like 2 papers about it. Stuff like this, right, that Miyako's doing here, to me, is just so crazy. It's so insane. You're seeing it, right? She's having one hand on one hand on the guitar, doing this thing on the same time. It's so complicated because you have to constantly, remember where you are, doing different stuff, right? It isn't just playing that one song. You have to, in your brain, kind of memorize how each instrument works at the same time, but they work differently, right? Like, arguably, this might be a dumb argument, but arguably, it would be easier to play two keyboards, you know what I mean? If one hand is that keyboard or the keyboard over here, you do the same thing on this keyboard or whatever, that'd be easier, right? So, to speak right, it's immediately 10 times harder to play the different instruments and so on. It requires so much, like, fine motor skills, so much memory in your brain, right? All the enigma, right? You have to memorize how to move it in your hand and so on. You have to wash it. But I can give you a good example of it, how our brain actually works, right? So, here's my keyboard, right? I got a, switch keyboard, whatever. When I write stuff on the keyboard, right, I would have to look at the keyboard. I can just write stuff, I can spell, you know what I mean? And I know where A is and B is and so forth, right? And for example, when I worked at this company, I had to have a very secure password, you know what I mean, right? So I actually changed the language settings to like Brazilian Portuguese. I was going to write my password. Because when I created my account on that company, I just wrote this very specific, order of keys, right? on Brazilian Portuguese. I didn't know what it actually meant. There's a bunch of different letters or whatever, right, and different numbers, because of course the keyword is different, right? And if anyone asked me, I mean, I don't know my own password, but I can write it by pure memory. I know exactly how to move like 20 times, with my fingers, right? Pure memory. I don't know how to do it. I still don't know it, what I mean? But I can still do it with my fingers, right? Just memorize it, right? So that's kind of what it feels like. You have to memorize 2 different instruments at the same time, and then exactly when to play them and so on, right? It's just super impressive. But anyway, let's get to the actual full song then, with the rest of the Lovebites members as well, right? And yeah, people commented and say that you also missed out how Midori is also amazing. Who said that Midori is amazing? But it's a good point though. I think I probably came in a little bit biased there, because obviously when I started doing Lovebite reaction, I was a love Midori. So in last video, I didn't comment too much about Midori. People were leaving comments like, but did you see Midori playing both that and that? I was like, yeah, it's true again. You're right. I probably felt that I was too much in love with Midori immediately, right? So now I'm like, it's the whole pendulum thing. I have to go the other direction, Now I have to be like, well, Miyako's my favorite now. Anyway, let's go into Burden of Time. This now is the studio live performance, and I have to say it's a little bit confusing with some songs, because I don't think Burden of Time is on their official site. I can't find it, right? It's just kind of like the last one, where they have it only is an audio, right, on their official channel. So there's this one, Studio Live, and Lovebites Burden of Time from 18. I couldn't find a recent one, guys. This one with like 10 views or something. So it's a little bit strange sometimes, a little bit hard to find perhaps which one is the correct one. But I think we start with the one that has the most views. I assume that's the most popular one and the correct one, or correct, like the best post or whatever, right? So the live one. And we go to this one as well then, if you don't. But yeah, so let's go here. But like I said, it's a little bit hard sometimes to figure out which one I'm supposed to look at, honestly. So it's a great start there. There's a good powerful one. Yeah, I kind of like when they have an immediate high tempo, right? I do prefer that with multiple bias, when you can have a good, beat immediately. I do, of course, spot, right, that Miyako is standing next to like a synth keyboard, whatever you call it, right? Something like that. Some kind of piano-looking thing over there. So maybe now, it does feel like, I mean, you saw the short version of her, right? It feels like this probably will happen during the core, kind of middle bit. It's kind of similar to Frozen, when it's like, okay, here's Asami's gonna do this dance thing, just to place it right. So I think it's gonna come now. Here's the chorus, and after that, I think she will play the keyboard. See if I'm right there. This is a good chorus, but yeah. Yeah, now I think that's gonna have That's moving over! Moving over! He's crazy! Ah, so yes! Yes! I'm getting too excited, so my lamp is falling. My lamp is falling. So I have a lamp here then, right? Stands on the sofa, of course. And yeah. So when I'm starting, I got too excited there. I started moving my, my hips too much. Yeah. I made it fell over there. But there's another video where I captured. Yeah, wasn't that 2 years ago? I fell over and I immediately grabbed it. I got linear difference. Anyway, let's go back. I'm gonna overexcited there. Yeah, see, this part breaks my mind, I guess it's overly excited. But it's like I said in the intro, right? You're getting into this as a person that likes music, right? Do graphic music and so on. It's a great, musical thing as well. The song is really great. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to just sit here and say that, oh my god, she's badass because it's also, I think, one of the better Lovebites songs. And I think almost all songs are great. There's probably a few which I mean, not to be that guy, that one sucks so much. No, but it's like, I don't think there's a single Lovebites song that I think is bad. I don't think so. But there are, of course, a few of them which I like more, right? Which I think are really like 10 bangers. Talk about it, of course, last week or 2 weeks ago. So anywhere you want, and that's my favorite. That's favorite. Yeah. So there are, of course, some I think are insane. So this is one of the better ones, absolutely. I think Better Timing is really great. But of course, I do think, as I said in our video, right? This comes from my science brain, right? From my nerdy stuff, this thing, right? Having built so much stuff like this in my life, I have built my own arcade machines, right? I built my own, as I mentioned earlier, my own control panel and systems, so on, right? This just like breaks my mind and is really happy. I get so excited, when I see someone who's like doing stuff like this on such a high level, right? This, of course, should be his own video. And a lot of people can be angry, this guy talks about whatever stuff, right? But this is how I make videos, right? I'll try to, talk about other stuff, not just the music, right? So to speak. That being said, though, I am actually, I've studied for years now, or thinking about it for years, but I am actually going to make a new channel that will purely be about science, and it's going to only be positive, okay? I have a name for it, classification now. I'm going to work on that channel, actually. It's going to only be about human achievements, okay? I've had this in my head, honestly, this channel ID, and I made videos for it for like a few years now. Never uploaded anything, because it started like this, okay, right? So I went to NASA the first time in 23 with my job then, right? So I went there with my stuff, right? And then in 24, I sent something up to space, right? With SpaceX or one, right? So I worked on this project, something in space, and now I get emotional. No, but that was, that was like a big, of course, achievement in life. I haven't gone to space myself yet, right? Whatever, probably never will, right? But I got to, work on a product, right? And we sent that thing to outer space, right? And we got it back to, and we started that thing, right? And so I'm friends with, but a person I work with. One of my bosses, he's a good friend with an astronaut. That's how we kind of got it up to begin with, right? Because actually, this astronaut guy that we set it up with, his job that he used to have like 15 years ago, I had like 5 years ago. Okay, so I basically had this job, but I'm not really exactly from the same backstory as him. But anyway, long story point here is that I made that. The first time I went to NASA, I was like, oh god, like I was crying all the time. I was like a baby touching the moon rocks and seeing all the space stuff and so on, right? And it made me really emotional. And of course I want to have, like I see here, I talk about, nerd stuff and whatnot, right? And I was into it, and I was thinking about, as I'm recording what's happening around like a TikTok or whatever, right? But I was thinking about it, that this is what I think the world needs more, because we're always talking so much about, politics that or religion or whatever, and people are angry, and I do it myself, but I complain about this game being bad or whatever, or this anime having a plot or whatever, but I want to talk about even grander stuff like that, right? Because I'm a weirdo in that way, I can see a bridge, it'd be like, that bridge has a good design, Who built that bridge? That's an interesting architecture style, Like, I want to make a channel where I just nerd out stuff like that, So I have a good concept now. I've been working on several videos, thanks for doing that, whatever. But this is just the stuff, right, that I get really interested in from that, like, motorical, technical skill, right? When I see Miyako doing this stuff, I'm just like, oh god, this is godlike, man. And I really mean that, right? I really mean that. It's so complicated and hard to actually do something like this, right? And not be that good, but I can do myself too, I play so much game with this. I can play with one hand, right? With my stick like this, and I can use the mouse with the other hand, so on, right? Like when I play games myself, and not when I stream or whatever, right? I can play like 4 games at the same time, I can play like one game on the PlayStation, have 2 card games going on the same side while I'm stock trading, I mean, like I usually do that. I usually stock trade while I'm doing videos, like when I'm streaming, so yeah, not on the screen, right? Like it's hard to like explain how amazing this is. And now I'm talking about the self-steps. It's a terrible video now, but it's like I'm always just really interested in, right, in this. People that really excel at stuff, okay? Long video now, I know whatever, sorry, but I'm really interested in persons like Miyako, right? And of course every band, I'm getting wrong, of course every person in Lovebites is very talented, right? This is very, very visual talent thing, he played instruments, and it's just like, how I say it, I've always been very interested in people that are very, very good at something, right? And it sounds so simple, but it's like, only 1% people, so few people are actually incredibly good at anything and really, really achieve something high in one skill level. And I always tell people this thing when I've been in a lecture before in universities. It's like, find your calling, right, and be really good at that, right? Be really good at that one thing you were good at, right? Because there's no real point being kind of half-assed and everything, right? That used to be a skill, honestly, and I think that for certain jobs, you can definitely be a very good generalist. But in today's society, right, it's so much beneficial for you and for society if you are very, very good at one specific thing, or of course more things, but like very, very expertise, right, in high expertise in one thing, right? Because we have a specialized society now that you can be extremely good at X, right? You don't have to know how Y works or Z or whatever, right? But another person can be really good at Y instead, and so on, right? And then you can combine that, you can build a better product, like a space rocket, or play instruments, you know what I mean? Or play make a music song, right? So it's so much better being really, really specialized. And I think that a lot of people today just kind of live a life in this. Overall, people have unfortunately live lives, right, where they just kind of like just living, you know what I mean? Just kind of mid whatever, I'm just surviving, right? And I think that's not how human should be. Human should always try to achieve something overall. It could be having more investment, buy a house or whatever. But it's always like trying to be better, right? Try to be good at something. But I think especially today, you should really try to master something that only you is really good at, preferably. But even if you have, competition, right? As long as you're good enough, that will always, make you more money or fame and so forth, right? So it's always really, I keep saying it, right? I always love when someone is like really, really good at something, and then they can take that skill, right, and then move it over to other skills. Now, of course, she's playing instruments, and they are obviously overlap in a musical skill, right? But I always keep saying this, right, that I think most musicians that are very, very talented can usually play more than one instrument because they have that overlap. And that's the next thing, right? Because I used to study it, okay? So back in grad school, I wrote a book about this because I studied this a lot for this long study for half a year. How professional people, right, became professional basically in like sport, it could be e-sport, whatever, but like how they achieved to become really, really good at something. You know what I mean? So I studied that and tried to understand, from the meta standpoint in your brain. Okay, what is actually the different parameters, right, to have the personality or whatever, right, to become the best at something, right? And for children and so on as well. How can you raise kids or whatnot? How can you so? And delay gratification is the answer. If you answer that, delay gratification is always the biggest answer, right? So people that can delay instant gratification, that's the biggest factor to become good at it, okay? So basically, you train that, So the biggest idea is that, okay, I'm gonna play an instrument like piano or guitar, and then it takes, like, say, 10,000 hours to be good, you know what I mean? And you have to first spend those 10,000 hours to master it, and then you can finally make money or whatever, and you have to be okay with that, right, It's kind of like, I trained a lot of martial art, right? I did taekwondo, judo, so on, right? In the first year to taekwondo is really boring. You do your upshagi 100 times, you know what I mean? But if you do it for like 10 years, now you can win tournaments or whatever, you can get medals, you can muscle. And that, being able to have discipline and kind of keep doing it, right, is the most important skill a human can have. Like, objectively, I studied many years, I know it's for a fact. And combining that with investments, which is the same thing in a way, right? Delay gratification, right? So you think, like, I have money, I save the money in my chest, and then 10 years from now, the money is doubled, right? That's a general step, right, for a human to get money, right? And my grandfather told me the 8th wonder of the world, right, is compound interest, right? He loved compound interest, but that's a boring answer. But that is truth, right? Investment, like stock exchange, general global funds, right, is the best thing ever. You take in money, you get more money later, right? Because, and here's the side of the world, right? This money, people that are afraid of losing the money when you're investing into like global index funds or whatever. But that to me makes no sense, because if the funds would, disappear, then the world is doomed. Okay, it's kind of like too big to fail to invest into the global market, right? Not the same thing, of course, as investing in a single company. If it's a single company, that can go bankrupt, right? But if the whole global economy fails, that's not a video, guys, but I'm just saying, I never realized that fear of that, because it makes sense. But anyway, my point is that I get like a mental break in mind here right now, when I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing, I'm seeing this thing, I'm breaking my mind, oh my god, it's so good, right? Because this person has spent so much time mastering these instruments, it's so incredible. She can do it more than one instrument on the same time even, right? So it really gets my whole, oh my god, this is godlike, because it keeps having that super high level expertise, right, that I'm so interested in. Like I said earlier, I studied that for years. I interviewed a lot of professionals in different sports or whatever, right, and try to think about that, like what makes you be so good at this thing, right? What makes you be that 1% professional person or whatever, right? How do you achieve that, right? And it's also the same answer, right? But it's very interesting, people doing that. And then the thing is that, and this is our videos too, is that when you have that skill, though, this is why I hate the trope, right? With intelligent people or whatever, usually smart people, right, in movies and so on, right, is that they tend to be terrible at everything else. That is the least logical reality ever, right? Okay, the actuality is that people that are very, very, very skilled at something, for example, that science, like math or whatever, right? They have kind of mastered this, how to train, how to get better, how to do something. They're very, very, how to keep doing it over and over again. Like, I'm sure Miyako spent countless hours, training. This is the same thing, right, for a professor in physics or whatever. They spend so much time mastering the thing, right? So if they actually just cared about mastering something else, they can do it quite easily. Let's get it to a pretty high level. So the whole concept that you have these movies, right, with this bumbling and buffoon scientist guy, he's the best at math, but he can't do cook an egg or something, is the dumbest trope ever, right? It's so stupid. I never actually met the person. I'm just kidding. I met a lot of science people that are completely terrible. But most science people, though, they aren't terrible in the sense that they don't have the technical skills, right, to do other stuff. They're more, of course, terrible in... That's more a true trope, though, right? Not completely true, but they're more common that have issues, right, with social stuff. But to say this, not be too long here, right, they usually are on the spectrum, right? So they tend to have much harder issue understanding social norms or social interaction, right? That is very, very true. Of course, not everyone, but many of them have, right? But the whole technical skills you see in movies, when they can't do something else, like take care of this thing, or they don't have control of their finance or whatever, right? That's a common thing, Oh, this guy is so good at math, but he's terrible at keeping his money, so his wife has to do all the money. So that is completely not realistic whatsoever. Now, I have never met a single scientist in a science of physics, math, whatever, right? Chemistry and so on, or also basically not rich, but upper wealth, because they have so good investments and all stuff. Yeah, no, they're always good at it's so uncommon, right, to find that person. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, super long point here, but see, yeah, my mind got broken here, and then the video you span out and say, welcome to my channel. I do it about my channel. Yeah, this is like, wait, what's the video about now again? Now we're gonna rewatch this thing here now, okay? I'm not gonna edit out my super long TECHNOBABBLE rant. That's what people love me for. That's what you actually love me for. Let's be honest here. No, but I think this thing, right? I think people, you have seen 50 other people, right? React to Lovebites, right? I'm not even the first reactor, you know what I mean? Like, at this song, you know what I mean? So I do feel that, at least with my videos, I said it before, but you get something unique, okay? I'm just trying to be different now, but you get something different, okay? Anyway, whatever. Sorry, long TECHNOBABBLE rant. But like I said, it inspires me, okay? This inspires me. Let's do it again. Do. Yeah, I get too excited, so the lab's falling down. I can't move too much. I think I broke the. Oh yeah, I think. God damn it! This is staying in the video, man. This is funny bloopers, man. It's not even bloopers. It shows you my excitement. Jesus Christ! I could like rewatch this thing like 10 times. I really do one more. I can rewatch it 10 times. Okay, man. Yeah. Try not to come on lamp again. I promise you, it's not on purpose, okay? I think I broke the stand-up bit earlier. Yeah, I have to hold my hand and I think I broke it. Like, it's obviously lightning, but it's I think I broke the whatever the foot is called. Yeah, like the stand-up. I think it's... Sorry about that. Let's try to finish the... But let's go and check out the audio one as well here. So jumping to the best bit here. She's godlike, Jesus Christ, she's godlike. It's so good, man, it's so good. Sorry we just jumped into it, but you know what I mean, it's like, this video is too long already, right? But I say, this looks harder. Yeah, it looks much harder actually, right? To do this thing here, versus the other one, which is more like a controlled environment. In the other one, it was more like, okay, she's playing it right. It's like a live studio thing, but it's a studio, there's no people there, right? I think the positioning especially, this feels much harder because now you have the much bigger stage, you have across the people, and she has some kind of picture thing around. Yeah, I think the other one, honestly, not to do with easy, so to speak, but this one here I think is harder, right? Because in the other one, you have a much more controlled space, right? And so the beginning to her home, like her home studio, you can have like this is where I'm sitting, here's my piano, here's this thing, here is my guitar, and I have like a chair, do anything. Yeah, it seems this one is actually probably for my pure dexterity standpoint, whatever, probably the hardest one. If you go back to the first thing, don't get me wrong, obviously she's amazing, this is incredibly talented. But this one here though, is like, I kind of like it that we started here, which was, again, this is absurdly impressive. My mind is broken, right? But it's like, this one here looks like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm sitting in my own house. I can have my own studio. It's like the environment, yeah. And then it goes to like, okay, studio live performance. And now it's like on the big stage. Yeah. It obviously looks even more complicated, and also probably is more tiring, right, from an actual physical standpoint. I don't know how much it's played before this thing here, but Burden of Time in the last version there, that was probably in the middle of, like, you know, I'm doing it for an hour now, I'm not gonna play 2 instruments. Yeah. It's super complicated. It's truly impressive. But yeah, I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe, press the like button, right? My TECHNOBABBLE stay. You can skip it over, right, if you don't like it. But yeah, I hope you guys will check out my more For Mankind future work later. Anyway, guys, you guys have a great day.